Get the fastest internet available in North Central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.
It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good Wednesday evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, as we always do, let's take a quick look outside our weather window where we're seeing a lot of clouds. In fact, a low deck of clouds beginning to move in now. We are seeing some scattered flurry activity around north central Washington as well. And that's just the beginning of a series of storm systems that are headed our way. Let's take a look at the pattern we expect this week. And boy, it's all favorable for a large amount of snow. We're seeing the polar jet stream dragging some very cold air down from northern Canada. At the same time, a Pacific trough of moisture is moving up from the southwest, and they are colliding pretty much right here in the Pacific Northwest, where we could see 20 to 40 inches of snow in some locations in the higher mountains by the time this storm leaves. And we're talking about 48 hours from now. Let's look at some of those snow totals. And even to our north, Winthrop 8 to 12 inches possible. Here in Wenatchee, only about an inch or two. Most of it will stay in the higher elevations, but if you are traveling east, Spokane 6 to 8 inches, and notice Sandpoint, Idaho up in the Panhandle, 18 to 24 inches of snow expected by the time this storm system moves through. And we'll talk much more about this system and your weather details coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Moses Lake police say two well-known criminals are in custody again following a short pursuit, and Bitcoin could be harmful to the PUD's health. But first, we begin tonight. The cause of a fire that destroyed an abandoned home in the foothills southwest of Wenatchee Monday night remains under investigation. Officials with Chelan County Fire District 1 say the home, located on Whispering Ridge Drive, had previously been declared condemned due to the ongoing threat of landslides in the area. The fire was first reported by several neighbors around 8 p.m. Monday night. Fire managers say crews were not able to get close to the structure due to a long and impassable driveway. The home was fully engulfed in flames when they arrived. Officials say it was unoccupied and empty of any contents. Well, it wasn't a Merry Christmas for a Waterville family who lost everything in a Christmas morning fire. Around a dozen Douglas County Fire District 1 firefighters responded to the blaze that was in the 300 block of Road L Northwest around 10:30 Monday morning. The residents of the single-wide mobile home told fire officials the fire may have started underneath the trailer from heat tape wrapped around the water pipes. The home was completely destroyed in the blaze, and an outbuilding nearby was also damaged. The Red Cross has been notified and is currently assisting the displaced family. Moses Lake police say two well-known criminals are in custody again following a short pursuit. Officers say they attempted to stop a stolen vehicle in the city. The driver fled the stop south of State Route 17, and officers chased the car for a short period of time before abandoning the chase. The vehicle was located and abandoned a short time later. Officers were able to follow the fresh tracks in the snow that led to the two suspects. They are 23-year-old Brandon McNew and 23-year-old Taylor Oakland, both of Moses Lake. McNew was arrested on charges of felony eluding and possession of a stolen vehicle. Oakland was arrested on charges of possession of methamphetamine. Officers say both of the suspects have criminal records and are well known to law enforcement. Chelan PUD is concerned that increasing numbers of homeowners and small businesses may be creating a significant safety risk by using energy-intensive Bitcoin mining computers without notice to the utility. The PUD is getting indications of widespread use of cryptocurrency machines across the country by customers violating district policies relating to high-density loads. The district's Customer Utilities Director, John Stahl, explained the problem at a recent Board of Commissioners meeting.
And usually what happens when we do our monthly meter read, we will go out and it triggers a high usage. We have an algorithm that looks back and says, whoa, you've used a tremendous amount more energy than you normally. So that we do that as a customer service offering. There may be something going on within the home. We'll just share that with the customer. But usually I think now that we're seeing these more and more. There's some telltale signs that there's some mining activity going on, and then that triggers follow-up calls, letters, asking them to stop doing that. Some folks will, this is what I'm doing in my basement or shop and what have you, and we'll ask them to stop for those safety and reliability reasons, as well as complying with our policy. Some do, some it's a bit of a cat and mouse game. And so then we put out what we call a load profile meter. So that's a truck roll where our meter shop goes out there, installs this meter, and then at a certain interval, you have to go back and you have to probe that meter and download the information. And that will give you'll see the load profile of what's going on. And that's usually really clear. And so then that, again, provides more information. And again, typically, if they're still mining, it's please cease and desist on that until you put in your application, pay your fees. And then if we need to upsize their transformer or their wires, we can move forward on that.
Stahl said PUD staff is developing options to tighten policies addressing situations where customers knowingly try to hide their Bitcoin mining operation from the utility. Customers considering a Bitcoin mining operation or those operating one who have not notified the PUD must contact their customer service department, and that number is 509-661-8002. Chelan County property owners hoping to make early payments in advance of the new tax law going into effect next week are being turned away. Treasurer's Office Manager Michelle Files says they've received numerous calls from residents inquiring about how the new tax law will impact them or asking if they can make an early payment.
We're just receiving many phone calls, just taxpayers asking if they can prepay the 2018 tax, which has not been levied yet. So we're unable to accept the payment. There's 2 Washington State RCWs that state this. So if they're needing extra, kind of backup information, then we're providing them with that RCW.
Starting next year, taxpayers will only be able to deduct up to $10,000 in combined property and sales taxes. Before, there was no cap. This only affects people who itemize their deduction. But Washington State bars counties from collecting tax payments until the full tax roll is certified, which isn't expected to happen until January. Coming up next, we'll continue our look at the top news stories of 2017 as we focus tonight on education. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
Come find your holiday gifts at Antique Mall at Cashmere this holiday season. With 15,000 square feet to explore, Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone, from coin enthusiasts to avid collectors. For do-it-yourselfers, this is the place to find your next repurposing project. What a great way to make your holiday gifts for someone special, using your keen eye to make something old and new again. Discover your next holiday gift in the Antique Mall at Cashmere. Stop on by today.
Welcome back. 2017 was a year of change in the Wenatchee School District. The biggest story covered by NCW Life News was the Wenatchee School Board elections and the emergence of a new power structure to guide future district policy decisions. Voters elected 3 new board members who were swept into office on a shared campaign pledge calling for more change and more transparency. Sunny Hemphill, Sarah Knox, and Michelle Sandberg sat down with NCW Life News soon after filing for the board positions.
Well, the first thing I do is learn as much as I could about what's happening in the district. I mean, I would have to be extremely well versed. I pull papers and I would read information. I believe that whoever is on the board is going to need people helping them. We're going to need committees to help us understand, and I want to bring as many people into the process as possible. You know, Wenatchee already has Wenatchee Learns. And you pull that wonderful community resource in, collaborate with as many possible community partners who are out there and want to be involved in making Wenatchee schools. I want to see us be the best in the state, quite frankly. When you see those lists ranking schools, I don't see any reason why Wenatchee schools can't be at the very top.
Very good. Go ahead, Michelle.
So I think that everything that we bring as candidates, are, again, as Sunny said, our strengths are varied. And for the candidates that are currently on the board, you know, they probably had no experience as well. But what I think is different is we have been collecting stories from teachers, from parents, from community members, wondering why their voices are not heard in important decision-making processes. So really looking to collaborate more with all those stakeholders in kind of a new way that's not really being done. It doesn't appear to be being done. And then also just the transparency of our whole district, you know, from committee meetings to administrative decisions to school board meetings. You know, there are some school boards that actually have their school board meetings taped and then put up on YouTube. So I think we can just allow just that transparency in so many ways that's not being currently accomplished. And so our communities have greater access to know what's going on rather than pulling up minutes online, you know, after the fact, you know, maybe a couple weeks after a meeting. So, so just greater accessibility as well.
So, Sarah, you obviously agree with your two cohorts here on enhancing, I guess, the process of engagement with the public and having them more of a more instrumental, I guess, in the day-to-day operations of the school district.
Certainly. So I really appreciated what you said about I'm not running against a candidate. I'm running for an idea of what Wenatchee schools could be, and I think the school board, I have respect for them. I think they're doing a good job, and I just think we should always be seeking to improve. And some areas that we could improve in, that I believe, are the transparency, collaboration. I absolutely want committees, and I want every voice to be thoughtfully heard and considered. Yes. And another is that I'm really passionate about implementing evidence-based practices. So really going in with all the knowledge and all the information we can in order to make informed decisions. There are school districts out there that are doing incredible things that are in our similar situation, but they're graduating more kids, they're have higher scores in all aspects, and we could really learn from them. And so I'm excited for not just collaboration within the community, but collaboration with other school districts. What's going well? What can we use?
The three new board members didn't waste any time with their agenda for change. The three used their newfound power to change board policy to enable Sandberg to be elected the new board chair and Knox as her vice chair. One of the top education stories we covered had nothing to do with academics or curriculum. In the Eastmont School District, the big controversy was a proposal to change the name of Robert E. Lee Elementary School. The change is being sought in connection with the national debate over Confederate Civil War memorials.
And we're embarrassed about how we might have been in our historical past. What about just worrying about yourselves and your present time attitudes? And quit worrying about being embarrassed about the insignificant things when people in that era that we're discussing were doing the best they could with what they had. General Lee was highly respected by the North as well as the South. And this whole thing of making it a racial issue is just a cop-out to keep people emotionally involved in this society.
To have kids, our kids, it is our job as parents to teach them about the history, but leave it as history. There are, personally, I have 12 kids here, and out of those kids, they've been called racist names. I can't even count as high how many times. And usually it's the backdrop of Lee School. They can go there and play basketball. I live right up the street. And if we spent more time teaching our kids better manners, proper respect for a person's culture and their race, this issue wouldn't even be taking place. Get rid of the name, change it. I guarantee there's somebody in the state, in this area, who is well more deserving than a Confederate slave owner.
Those comments and more were fielded by the Eastmont School Board in October, and board members were also split on the issue.
His name reminds us of a tragic and difficult time in our history. This name reminds us of that tragic past, of mistakes we shall never make again, of rebirth, and of a complete allegiance to the truth that all men are created equal. As such, I oppose name change. This name does not endorse any amoral or racist view. This name does not injure anyone in any way. This name does not in any way detract from the good work that goes on inside that building. This school, as with all Eastmont schools, is proud to have a diverse student population. And this name does not in any way, real way, diminish our commitment to serving all children.
In terms of the name change of the building, there's been a lot said about numbers of people that are in favor of or favor of not changing the name of the building. And based on the fact that I work for my constituents, I would like to see that put to a vote by our constituents. That's what I would say.
It's a very divided issue. I think it's going to take us some time to make the decision. I don't agree that we are being forced to make the decision, but I do agree a decision needs to be made probably for the safety of our kids. They will always come first for me. I think this is something that won't be decided tonight, personally. That's my opinion.
I am under the opinion that I would like to leave Lee as Lee, to honor him. Someone spoke tonight and said he made a mistake for choosing his family and supporting his state. That mistake, I don't think, defines who he was as a man. We as human beings are perfectly imperfect, and one decision shouldn't define him totally. I don't believe that he was racist. I believe he was supporting his family and the states where he was. I am not in favor of a name change. But I would say I'm not opposed to putting it to a vote of the folks that put us where we are. I mean, ultimately, it's your decision. And I, too, appreciate everybody for coming out here and explaining and telling us how you feel.
I also believe that we have spoken about putting it as a vote to the people. I agree with that. I agree with my constituents that I serve out there, and I agree with my board that I serve with right here. Is it going to take time? Yeah. Because the one thing we're not going to do is we're not going to be bad stewards of the money that each of you property owners give us. That means we will not put a special election on the ballot. We will wait until our next general election to be able to do that. Because it's the difference between hundreds of thousands of dollars and a small amount of money. Some of you are going to be angry with our decision, and I'm sorry for that. But I also want you each to understand that this job is not easy.
No final decision has been made yet, as board members are still deciding on whether to put the name change before voters to decide or simply change the name to Lee Elementary. You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
Good evening and welcome in. I'm Gabe Mercer filling in for Eric Randstrom. Here's your sports update. Let's start our sports talk off with nobody else other than the Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks continue to prep for their final game of the regular season against the Arizona Cardinals. This is a must-win situation for the Seahawks for them to have any chance at moving on in the postseason. Seattle will need a lot of help to make that happen, as they will need the Atlanta Falcons to lose their game against Carolina on Sunday. If the Seahawks don't make the playoffs this year, it will be the first time in Russell Wilson's career that the Hawks haven't made it to the postseason, which is ironic seeing as how Wilson is amongst the top contenders for the MVP voting. I'm sure all of our local Cougar fans and alumni know this, but it's bowl season. The Holiday Bowl is coming up Thursday night. The Washington State Cougars will take on the Michigan State Spartans in what will be the Cougars' third straight Holiday Bowl appearance under coach Mike Leach. The team arrived in San Diego last week to begin prep for their game, unfortunately missing out on Christmas at home, but they did get to take a fun trip to SeaWorld to splash around with dolphins.
And Merry Christmas to everybody, out here, day 2 of practice, give the gifts of playing football.
Gotta get the tickets. This is where we at. We're out at SeaWorld. I lost everybody.
Oh, just beautiful.
Everybody's favorite Coug lineman and former Wenatchee High School grad Cody O'Connell got a chance to take the podium and speak with media about the team's preparation against the Spartans. He was asked about his experience playing at WSU.
It's been a ride. I can't even begin to, describe what it's been like. Not only play for WSU, but, play at a high level like WSU and just go out there with, guys I basically, just came here with, and just go out there and have fun and do the thing that I love and, win together.
And now it's time to talk hockey. The Wenatchee Wild's defenseman Slava Demmin has been selected to play in the Canadian Junior Hockey League Prospects game in January. The game will be played January 23rd in Ontario. Each of the players chosen to participate through the efforts of NHL Central Scouting. This means that Demmin is among the top 40 CJHL prospects heading into the 2018 NHL Draft. The Wild are currently enjoying the holiday break and return to action December 29th through 30th with a pair of home games against Penticton. Demmin, a native of Cypress, California, has committed to play his college hockey at Denver University. NHL Central Scouting has assigned Demmin a B rating, indicating he is a projected 2nd or 3rd round draft pick for the 2018 NHL entry draft. And now on to high school sports around the region. The Chelan Holiday Tournament tipped off earlier today. The Chelan 2 and 6 boys will be looking to utilize their home court advantage and get in the playoff hunt in the Caribou Trail League. Like the boys, the Chelan girls varsity is set up well for the home court advantage during the holiday tournament. They are currently at 1 and 3 in the Caribou Trail League. Also, the Cascade Holiday Classic tipped off today at 3 p.m. with Liberty Bell versus Cascade. And that wraps up our sports report for December 27th. I'm Gabe Mercer. Back to you, Grant.
Nice job, Gabe. Thanks. We'll be back in just a moment with your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Hey, this is Justin at Club Crow Bar and Grill reminding you it's your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Jam sessions and live bands playing a wide range of music. If pool tables or pull tabs are more your thing, we have you covered. Enjoy the fun and food at Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Stop on by today.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
And now your weather forecast for north central Washington, and a kind of a quiet day today, but expect some changes headed our way. In fact, we'll see a snowy weather period in store for north central Washington with area of light snow. We are seeing that around the area this afternoon, and that will continue especially as we move into tonight across most of eastern Washington. Most of the heavier snow, though, will be confined to the eastern third of Washington and the Idaho Panhandle, where about 2 to 4 inches of snow could fall. You can see that large area of low pressure just off the coastline, and that will kick into gear, and it is a monster. It's going to bring us a series of stronger weather systems that's expected for Thursday through Friday night, with the potential for heavy snow over the northern valleys and mountains, as well as a wintry mix of precipitation for the Columbia Basin and north central Washington. We have a 70% chance of snow in the Wenatchee Valley tomorrow and tomorrow night, and that goes up to an 80% chance on Friday. Higher elevations in the mountains of western and northern Washington, I mentioned this earlier, could see between 20 and 40 inches of snow over the next 48 hours, prompting winter storm watches and warnings for Stevens, Snoqualmie, and Blewett passes. Obviously, travel in those areas will be hazardous over the next few days. Let's take a look at that forecast now, and tonight we'll drop down to 23 degrees with cloudy skies, and then the snowy period on both Thursday and Friday with anywhere from a 60 to 80% chance of the white stuff, probably about 2 inches on the ground here in Wenatchee by Friday night. Maybe some sunshine on Saturday, and look how it warms up, 37 by then, and then a mix of clouds and sun on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with highs around 30 and lows in the lower 20s. So if you are traveling, be very, very careful out there and watch out for some hazardous road conditions, icy roads, and some slippery road conditions. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. Also, make sure you tune in to the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
Is this really what we're going to do on our girls' night out?
We should go to Club Crow. The bar and grill in Cashmere?
Yeah, let's go.
Looking for a fun-filled, friendly hometown atmosphere? Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is the place to be. Hi, this is Justin. Here at Club Crow, we have full bar and restaurant. Live music, a dance floor, pool tables, pull tabs, and live jam sessions the first Sunday of every month. Club Crow in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Weekly. For the newest tech, coolest tech, and the craziest tech stories available on the interwebs, tune in for your weekly tech update right here on the NCW Life channel.